Blade actually did a 7.51 cycle. He actually got a slightly better performance than even Acheron. QQ somehow managed to clear. Wow. Well. What do we have here, ladies and gentlemen? It has been a long time. Antler has been underworking for Honkai Starbucks ever since the introduction of Ethereal Restart, which we are definitely going to be checking out when the game launches. But alas, we finally have ourselves the Memory of Chaos Analytics for version 3.2. Now, keep in mind, this took them a while to compile, but we are going to be facing most likely another update probably in the next couple of days after Hya's release. So I'm not too sure how that is going to be tabulated, but Hya is definitely going to be getting at least a tier list ranking. Let's just take a look as to the analytics for 3.2. 17,000 players, bada boom, bada bing, bada bang. Sadly, it's limited and we have no way to obtain average cycle per one site, blah 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 blah. E0 all icons, so this is gonna be E0 as one. Let's just take a look right now. Argendi having a 2.71 cycle decrease, going down from, I believe this used to be 7 or almost 8.14 cycles, down to a whopping 5.43. Jade also having a ridiculous 3 cycle improvement from 8 cycles to 5.86. And then Tribi also going down. Actually, now that I take a look, almost every single unit in HSR, they have actually improved in the overall performance. Almost as if the Memory of Chaos got easier. Right, because numbers don't lie, guys. Right, numbers, every single unit HSR looks like their performance actually improved. So Tribi getting the 6.17, Anexa going down by 1 cycle to 6.2, Herda going down to 6.26, Lingsha going up again. Castorice debut at a whopping 73.2% appearance rate, by the way. Even higher than Tribi. Oh my god, she is the second highest appeared unit so far in the top 10 at a 6.33 average cycle. This does remind me quite a bit of back in those days when Firefly first came out with HMC and Ranmei. They were pretty much the most common team comms of Rick when they first launched. So Castorice making an absolutely fantastic debut at a 73.2%. Saval also making a pretty decent comeback, and in fact the only 4-star DPS in the top 10, but also that being said, it's gonna be at a 4.48% appearance, so might be a bit of a one-guy situation. I'm probably gonna be using her for my 4-star only challenge later on, so we'll just see how that goes, because I do believe that her performance against TV should be very good, right? Babin, right, still maintaining a very good position over here at 35% for 6.42 average, slightly over leading RMC, but that being said, RMC has more than double of the appearance rate, so I would say these two are pretty much neck and neck in terms of performance. Gallagher is still absolutely him. In fact, he is I believe the most common sustain in the top 10, since Lingsha is going to be slightly 20% lower. Gallagher basically slightly underperforming by 0.17 cycles, but that being said, with more than 54.4% appearance rate, so Gallagher is absolutely him. Sunday and Aglaya, I'm pretty sure these two are basically tied hand in hand, since Aglaya is going to be one of the biggest booms over here. So most likely these two are going to be paired together, but we probably can still be running Sunday with Castorice, with Herta, but that means I don't really think that's going to be as common, since we do see Anexa most likely pairing with Diorda herself, and then we're most likely going to be seeing Babin with Anexa and Herta, and then Tribi is most likely going to have Castorice. So Sunday's appearance over here is either most likely going to be with Aglaya, which also has a pretty substantial performance, and the remaining 40% is probably split somewhere amongst the top performing teams, because if this was going to be for the bottom performance with Jingyuan or Blade, I don't think his performance should be in the top 10, so most likely probably boosted split between Herta as well as Castorice, which can still pretty much work very nicely. So that's gonna be that. And then going into the next is gonna be Huan at a 22.23 with 6.64% average cycles, going by 2.26. And Luocha is basically following closely behind Huan, slightly more appearance rate this time, most likely because of his pairing with Castorice, making him having a much higher appearance. And then Aventurine is gonna be at the bottom of the sustains over here, which I mean is to be normal, because this time they really focus a lot more on the abundant sustain as a whole. So that's going to be a 6.84 at 31.79. And Ranmei is going to be the top of, I believe, Super Break at 6.9 at 56.29% appearance. Most likely players are still gonna be using her alongside the Super Breakers, but that being said, I wouldn't be too surprised if I see a little bit more Rame usage rate being paired up with the likes of Castorice as well as even Herta, since part of her kit still ties together quite nicely with them, for especially for players that basically skip for Tribi, so it's just sort of like a decent alternative. And taking a look at Super Break in general, I don't think they're performing too good, so it is quite unlikely that Rame's performance is because of Super Break. Most likely people have decided, okay, you know what, Super Break, I'm gonna just run her with other DPS alternatives, and that's why her performance is still gonna be at a pretty decent cycle clear with a very, very high appearance. So that's going to be that. Fusion at 9.15, marking her the lowest appeared sustained from what I've seen so far at a 7.01 cycle average. And My Day, actually, I believe this is the slowest performing unit from the version 3 DPSs at a 7.12 negative. Still improved by one cycle, 13.61% appearance. From what I'm guessing is most likely they probably tried to run My Day for, I guess, Pollux. I think Pollux is still not too bad with My Day. As long as you can heal his HP back up, I think it's not gonna be as bad as compared to, for example, against a TV boss, because the My Day's auto-targeting, it will really ruin with your the TV you want to hit with My Day, right? Because you want to be a little bit more concise as to which TV you want to hit at that moment. You don't want to make the big TV happy, because if he is happy, he will force implant angry for the other two TVs, and after the other two TVs, they become force angry, and they're gonna just ruin your life. So it is what it is. Baby Herta probably still gonna be paired with Herta. Reba being the top performing Super Breaker from what I've seen over here at a 7.29 cycle average, most likely gonna be because of the TV side, since TV is pretty much one of the bosses designed for Reba's performance, especially for 5 targeting. 9.69% appearance. Lynx, I don't even know what the she's doing here, so it is what it is. And then fuck you, she's gonna be actually slightly slower than Rame with a lower appearance rate. I think what happened is because Rame, while she can pivot into different DPS team comps such as Castorice as well as Herta, you can't really do the same for Fuke. I guess you could try something like Fuke with Akron, so you do something like a Fuke Akron Tribi, and you give Tribi the defense buff, and she can still give a lot of stacks to slash streams. But I do believe that most of her usage is still probably gonna be with Super Breakers, and unfortunately, I think Super Breakers are not gonna be doing too well, especially against the first half. But I'm actually a little bit surprised that Fuke is actually this low, because you could technically just run her in second half, no? Because second half TV with Reba should still be doing very, very well. I don't see why any of the Super Breakers will want to try to force the run Super Break in the first half, since second half is basically sort of for Super Break. I think what happened here is basically Rame's performance got boosted up so high by Pollux, because Pollux boss, especially for players that own Castorice, is a very, very easy boss if you can just basically get through the mechanic. And Rame is sort of boosted by this, as well as I guess in a sense Herta as well. Then Super Breakers, they are basically relegated to the second half, which I guess is not as straightforward as compared to Pollux, which is why her performance dipped there a little bit. So it is what it is. Jiao Qiu still chilling at a 7.44, going down a little bit. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be a trend where most of these supports, they're going to be performing a little bit better than the DPS counterpart, because I'm guessing Akron is going to be the second half, so it is what it is. Then Blade actually did a 7.51 cycle despite having a 2.9% appearance, which means that he actually got a slightly better performance than even Akron. Akron, despite having a bit of a buff up, since it's technically improved by roughly 1.62 cycles, is gonna be at a 7.69. Yeah, that's quite interesting. Himeko, I guess, is a little bit of a one-guy situation, so it is what it is. Pella, most likely still being used with, I guess, the TV side, right? TV side against Pella is still not too bad. I'm not too sure if they're gonna be running Pella in the first half, and probably still sticking her along with Akron. Then Akron is gonna be, I mean, yeah, just put Jiao Qiu, I guess, right? We're gonna fix everything, right? It won't, but what if, right? Okay, very good. And then Silver Wolf, I'm guessing we're gonna probably, wow, she went from unclearable to 7.8 cycle. So people are actually picking up a little bit of a Silver Wolf usage here, and that is E0 S1 at a 1%, almost a one-guy scenario. Looking forward to see how Silver is going to be performing after the buff. I'm hoping that with the buff in 2.4, Blade is just going to completely rise up. He will arise in the top 10. Dude, the day where I see Blade in the top 10 is going to be a very, very good day for the player. Very good. Balu. I don't know what. Okay, yep. Carried by Castorice, very good. And then Sparkle, 7.99, slightly better than Bronya. So these two are pretty much around the same. And then Firefly is gonna be not too crazy. 8.35 minus 1.23. This is gonna be E0 S1 at 14.16% average appearance. Yunli almost like a one guy scenario. So that's gonna be, and Jingyuan almost like a one guy scenario. Unfortunately, I mean, Aglaya is basically just Jingyuan, but way better in every single aspect. It does appear that the follow-up team com that is Fei Xiao, my wife, is not doing too hot because I don't really see. Oh, I see Fei Xiao over here. Ooh. Ooh, yeah, Fei Xiao is not eating good for this current update. So you can see Topaz at a 1.43% appearance at 8.68, and Fei Xiao is actually going to be all the way down here 8.84 at 3.54%. So it's just a little bit unfortunate for single target. So it is what it is. Waiting for the DOT buff is going to be great. And then March 7th most likely going to be also tied alongside with the Fei Xiao team contract. Then HMC, I don't know what the f is using this guy, so it is what it is. And the rest of the units is sort of just cooking, not too good. Wow, nobody cleared with Boot Hill. Damn, yeah, nobody cleared with Boot Hill, guys. I guess it's like one or two guys that tried 99 cycles, so nobody cleared using a E0 S1 Boot Hill. That is quite interesting. QQ somehow managed to clear. Wow. No clears with Dang Heng, Jing Liu, Kafka. Wait, there were no clears with Kaka, but there was a clear with Black Swan. Who the f are people using Black Swan with? Interesting. I don't know. Black Swan, a next on some. Then when Scylla is there and all that kind of stuff is gonna be there. So that's gonna be that for our E0 S1 statistics. E0 S1 statistics. Let's take a look at E0 S0. Okay, so E0 S0 is basically one, guys. Alright, if you are still running E0 S0 in 2025, you're poor, little bro. I'm just kidding, right? But yeah, it looks like there are very few people in HSR that are still running E0 S0s. So you can see all the appearance, they are like very low. So I don't think it's gonna be too representative of the scenario. In fact, if I want to take a look at E0 S0, wow, I don't think there are less than 20 units that cleared. 9, 10, 13, 26, 26. Yeah, so we have 23 units that cleared using E0 S0. Everyone else just did not clear. Did everyone just decided to just forgo their morals? Like, you know what? F it, I'm just gonna get myself an S1. Yep. E0 S0, I'm gonna get an S1. I'm gonna get my E2 S1. Imagine still playing a E0 S0 in 2025. That's gonna be the statistics over here. Kind of interesting to see how Rebel with E0 S0 is still, you know, not doing too bad up against Firefly's E0 S0. But yep, let's go into the final category, which is gonna be up to E2. Damn! And there it is! The strongest DPS of version 3. All arise for Aglaya. I've called it since day one, by the way. The Aglaya believers. Still the undisputed fastest clearing version 3 DPS as of 3.2 going into 3.3 at a whopping 4.66 cycle average. Very good. In fact, tying with 3B, I'm guessing this is most likely gonna be an E1 3B for instance. 40% appearance, by the way. So 40% of the player base put for a E1 3B. Wait, is there more than this for E0? Okay, there are still more players with E0, but there is a substantial amount of people that actually have put for an E1 3B at 40.93%. L Moral, so you should never put for items in Discord for a second game, so it is what it is. And then Castorice at a whopping 4.86. I just want everybody to know, okay? I just want everybody to know. In the world where the literal boss was designed for Castorice, I don't think you guys can debate with me on this. Pollux was designed for Castorice. It was built with every single mechanic in mind to make Castorice shine the best she possibly could. You have what 50-60% free new butt, all the heals, it was literally built for Castorice, and still Aglaya arised. Aglaya arised in a boss literally designed for Castorice, by the way. W Aglaya, W Hack. I love big titties, very good. And then Jet is gonna be at a 8.48% appearance. Mimi, I don't think it's gonna be too much of a surprise, so that's gonna be there. And then Barbin is actually gonna be tying with Mimi at a 5.06. So I'm pretty sure this is gonna be an E1 Barbin showcase, so very good. And this is gonna be a Link Shot also at 5.06. So the three of them all tied together at 5. Oh yeah, I'm gonna keep it up for a sustain. For a sustain to achieve a 5.06, that is That is pretty good. Sustain, right? So that's pretty nice. Argenti, this is like a one guy scenario. Let's just nobody plays E1 Argenti or whatever. So that's gonna be. And most likely this is probably the E2 Herta showcase at 33.52 at 5.09. Anexa at 5.14, 19%. Sunday closely behind at 5.17. Saval and Gallagher somehow managed to clinch into the top 13. The two 4-star units in a land with E2 S1s, they somehow managed to appear in the top 13. Beyond Jiao Qiu, Bronya, Rame, even Firefly. That is kind of crazy, but let's just take a look in the second row, which is gonna be our Jiao Qiu at 5.26, 8.6% appearance. Bronya at 5.42, Rame at 5.46, and Firefly, after the inclusion of E2, does in fact place her as, I guess, the strongest super break DPS. I believe this should be E2 S1 Firefly, 10.85%, highest appeared, fastest clearing super break DPS. Luocha at 5.51, you know, outperforming a E2 S1 Acheron. They are both very similar anyways. I think this is gonna be a 0.05 cycle difference. I think these two at the E2 S1 is very similar. This is probably with the power of E2 S1 Fagyu with the DDD, very nice at 5.57, slightly faster than Sparkle. This should be an E2 Sparkle at 5.59, which is, I don't know what the is this Mose guy doing here. What is he doing here? What is a random ass Mose doing? This is like a one guy, 0.13%, 5.61. Very interesting. I'm pretty sure the 4-star should be all accounted for as E6. So that's gonna be that. Huan at a 5.63, very good. HMC Fuxuan, Maide at a 5.84. Very good. Rest of the units, okay, so you can see Rev over here at a 6.07, which is gonna be roughly half a cycle slower than Firefly. So this should be up to E2 Rev. This most likely should be an E1 Topaz. Oh my god, even with the Eidolons, looks like Fei Xiao is sort of clinching it to be decent enough. A little bit behind our E1, I'm guessing E1 Yunli. To be fair, this is a little bit of a one guy scenario as well, at a 2.52% at 6.34. Jingyuan with, okay, to be fair, Jingyuan's Eidolons is just not that great anyways, because version 1 DPS Eidolons are just really not gonna be that strong. So 6.42, that's okay. And rest of the units, who didn't clear? Oh, so the only limited 5-star DPS that could not clear even with Eidolon is going to be Scylla, unfortunately. In what role will she proc Resurgence? Oh wait, in no role, right? She'll never proc Resurgence. It is just a little bit unfortunate. The environment is not going to be favoring her. Even Doctor ratio with Eidolon cleared. That is kind of crazy. I mean, that is pretty much it for all our data points regarding the Eidolons up to E2 and signature light cone. So now let's just jump on over to the stats over here. Boom. Character usage. So most used right now is RMC, followed by Castorice, followed by Tribi. Ranmei is still clinching on as a version 1 support. She's still clinching on in the top 4 at a 56.29, alongside with Gallagher, which pretty much is one of, if not the most universal sustains. Free unit, by the way, so very good. Slightly above the Herta, followed by Sunday, Luocha, Babin, Lingsha, Aventurine, Annexer, and Fagyu. Taking a look into the second row, we do have Huan going up by a little bit. The Herta with Baby Herta, I think they go down because of the Annexa inclusion. Acheron and Firefly, they are both very close. Firefly actually dropped down by quite a bit, minus 11.43%. Now slightly behind Acheron's appearance. Acheron is going to have 14.41, and then Jade is going to be at 13.89. Jiao Qiu should be tying closely with Acheron, so for some of the Acheron mains that still did not pull for Jiao Qiu, I guess this is where the disparity is going to be coming from. Maide is going to be at 13.61. Sparkle slightly above Reba, right? Roughly less than 0.3% difference. Fuxuan, Pella, these are all the standard units. Aglaya is still going to be, I guess, pretty underappreciated, since a lot of people, I'm guessing, pretty much skipped Aglaya, since they assume that Castorice is going to deal 10 billion times more damage, so it is understandable. Have a nice day. And then Fei Xiao, Blade, Jingyuan, all the rest of the stuff just basically 1% guys, 1% guys. And who the f is this guy running Japard? I have no idea. Hook. Okay, very good. So that is gonna be the appearance rate. And now let's take a look at the performance over time. Castorice debuts at a 7.47 cycle average at a whopping 55.86 appearance, followed closely by Maide, followed closely by Aglaya, followed closely by Herta. So essentially the 4 version 3 DPSs are clearing the fastest. Reba is the next fastest clearing version 2 DPS. Blade made it! to be faster than Acheron. To be fair, it's a little bit of a smaller sample size at 1.64%, so I guess not a lot of people actually were using Blade, but holy shit, guys. Can you imagine a world like this? I'ma keep it a buck. Damn. That's crazy, man. Essentially, we do have ourselves Blade at an 8.42%, 1.64. So to be fair, this is a very, very small sample size, right? And for the Acheron with a much larger sample size, it is normal that the performance is going to be dragged down, especially for a lot of the Acheron means that, okay, but what if, you know, but what if I don't need to, but, you know, so it is what it is. Yun Li still kind of chilling at 8.83 cycle, average on 2% appearance. Jingyuan, Himiko, Firefly going into the 9 cycle, 25.3. Fei Xiao also dropping into the 9.04 cycle, average at 9.25. And every holy shit. Let's wrap it up, little bros. Let's wrap it up, right? So all these people, they are dead. So yep, that is pretty much a holy shit. Support DPS, we have read Sarah's chat. What does Sarah want? That Blade is a Herta. Oh, it's a Castorice support. The Blade is a Castorice support. What if Blade is not a Castorice support? What if Castorice is a Blade sustain? Because technically, Castorice can sustain, guys. So what if it's the other way around? You know what I'm saying? And there it is. Whoa, cooking, and there it is. And there it is, you know? Alright, it is like a you say, he say, she say, they say kind of moment, right? You know, what if Castorice is just a Blade sustain? You know? It works, right? Okay, anyways, Anaxa at a 6.2 cycle. 30% usage rate. This guy just debuted, so I'm not too surprised that the performance is gonna be very, very high. Argenti is sort of like a D-Herda sim, so to no one's surprise, very low appearance does translate into a very, very high performance. Anyways, Tribi is still absolutely a hurdle, right? Because this guy is new and this guy is just getting carried. Tribi is absolute. This is the true challenger. Right, this guy got boosted, and this guy just came to the season. This is a battle-tested veteran. 51.81% average user at a 7.24. She is absolutely the challenger mid lane, right? Hail Faker, Hail Chong, Chovy, all that kind of stuff. Very good. And then Jade is gonna be at a 7.58, 90.83%, followed by Saval. Okay, Saval honestly is cooking very, very well in the past recent patches. To be fair, this is the past 3 MOC as well. So a lot of the MOC's environment, which is gonna be AoE based, it is gonna be cooking for Saval. So I'm not too sure if you guys remember, we actually managed, I think, Saval 0 cycle against Nikado Avocado, right? I feel like her performance as an AoE is gonna be very, very nice. Baby Herta sort of the same as Saval, but she can't really stand alone as a solo DPS, so that's that. Topaz, Mark 7, Black Swan, well, all the kind of stuff. You know what? It is what it is, right? And jumping into the support category. Sunday actually slightly outperformed RMC. Okay, to be fair, I feel like all these, right, these 3, they're all very, very close. It is like a 0.2 cycle difference with all around a 40% average usage. I would say Mimi is, if you were to ask me between these 3, she is still absolutely her, right? They are still absolutely them, because we do have a 17% higher appearance compared to Babin and a 15% higher appearance compared to Sunday. So the higher the appearance and still clinching up a average cycle this high, I think Mimi is still absolutely her. For a free unit, I think that's very, very big W. Babin, I would say she's probably got a little bit of a bomb, if I'm not mistaken, because Babin is very, very good with D-Herda and Anaxa, and she can also sort of be used with Aglea as well. So Herda and Aglea help Babin to push up a little bit, because without these two, you wouldn't ever use Babin with Mighty and Castorice anyway. So since these 4 are the top version 3 DPS, Babin sort of, I'm guessing, gets carried by Aglea and D-Herda. So that's pretty much it. Ranmei, I don't believe this performance is because of Super Break, like I mentioned just now. This is most likely because Ranmei has abandoned Super Break. She became a Sarah. Ranmei has betrayed Super Break and she jumped ship into Castorice. She jumped ship into D-Herda. She jumped ship into all the V3 DPS and she abandoned Super Break, right? That's the only possible reason why her appearance over here is still very, very high on top of a pretty considerable average cycle. Because if you want to take a look at our Super Break performance, yeah, it's not gonna fly. Okay, this is just not gonna fly. So it is what it is. Ranmei has abandoned ship, you know, live of a support. You know, if your team comp doesn't work out, if your DPS starts slacking, if your DPS wants to go into retirement, you know, you can always just change job, right? But unfortunately, I don't think a lot of DPS can follow the same path as Ranmei. So it is what it is. And then, bro, okay, read Sarah again. Read Sarah again. Super Break is, oh, okay. Super Break is suffering most from people yoinking RMC HMC from them, since the only Super Break team worth using is HMC fuck you run me. Damn. And if Super Break yoinks RMC from Castorice, she is kinda cooked. Damn. And lowers their combined cycles. Damn. So it's actually not Super Break's fault then. It's actually not Super Break's fault that they are suffering. It's all because of Castorice. You're saying that in real time, Castorice is literally cucking Firefly. She cucked Firefly from the HMC runway combo, and now that this bitch wants RMC, and now you can't give her a HMC, it is literally unplayable for Super Break. Is that how you think it is? Is that how you think it is gonna be? That's how it is, right? Because you're saying the only way that cucking Rappa and Firefly, okay? So she cucked the entire Super Break. I guess Boot Hill can't be cucked because you can kind of still use Sunday with Boot Hill to a certain extent. So Sunday, Boot Hill, Run May, and Fugue, right? So yeah. So the only way to play Super Break, I'm guessing, is with what? Sustainless? So, yep, that's pretty much it. Bronya, Jiaoqiu, fuck you, Pela, all around the same caliber. Sparkle slightly behind, and this is going to be HMC, and the rest of the units just it is what it is. I'm really hoping that Silverwolf makes a comeback though. Like, after the Silverwolf buff, I want this bitch to be standing shoulder to shoulder with the titans of Runmei. W Silverwolf, she is gonna come back, guys. She's gonna come back, right? Anyways, finally for our sustain, Huan actually clinched rank 1. I think it's been a long ass time since Rappa got dethroned. Not Rappa, sorry, Lingsha got dethroned. Huan actually clinched rank 1. Not because of Huan, by the way. Not because of it. Let's just be real. This is not because Huan did the heavy lifting. It is because of units like Castorice. Alright, it is because of units like Castorice, right? So it is what it is, you know. With the My Days, you know, with the energy regeneration with like Aglaya, you know, with the energy regeneration from Deherda. Alright, tell me, chat, tell me, right? Out of all these, would you run Rappa with any one of them? Yeah, I don't think so, you know what I'm saying? Oh, it was all Huan? Oh, okay, to be fair, Lingsha is still kind of similar, right? Because this is going to be like 12% higher average usage. I would say they are both around the same ballpark. It's just that Huan is just a little bit more for the big 4 in version 3 than compared to Lingsha. And then Gallagher is trailing extremely closely behind. Only 0.12 slower than Lingsha. And this is a free unit, by the way. So very W Gallagher. And then we have Luocha, Aventurine. The preservation units are just going to be a little bit cool. I don't know who the f is using Lynx in 2025. So that's going to be that. And Burlu, the only motherfucker to be praised as the standard 5-star sustain, getting us the average performance over here. So that is pretty much going to be the summarize performance for the past 3 Memory of Chaos. And finally, to the team usage rate. Oh my lord. Global passive, 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 global passive. It looks like a lot of players in the HSR community lost their morals, unfortunately. You guys pulled for the global passive unit. Not me though. I just want to say I feel very proud that I did not contribute to these statistics because that boy did not pull Castorice. I have the morals, right? I have the morals. I did not pull for Castorice. So, good to see that a lot of the community members just have no morals whatsoever using this broken-ass global passive unit. Very ashamed of you guys, genuinely, right? You should be ashamed of yourself. You should start crying, right? Start weighing right now if you pull for Castorice and use her in this Memory of Chaos because y'all lose all your morals, right? Y'all lose all your morals, you know, and there it is. And there it is, all the loose more, and there it is, you know. Huge W for MrPokke, a huge L for the honkaistarrail community, if I can say so myself. So it is what it is. So stage 1 is basically everybody just use Castorice, right? So it is what it is. Stage 2 is sort of like a mix between Firefly, Rappa, and a lot of Herda teams, which I feel like it's okay because Herda has a lot of variations. But for your teams with Firefly and Rappa, there are not a lot of variations. It's kind of like the same team. Whereas for Herda, you can run like Babin, you can run Nexa, you can run Tribi, you can run Baby Herda, you can run Jade. So a lot of all these different variations, but you can kind of just combine them all into one. So I'll just count all these as a singular factor, which means technically speaking, Herda is more appeared than Firefly and Rappa. Well, after combining all these teams into one, right? Then rank 4 is going to be Akron. Then this team is the alternative into Rappa, which is going to be over here. And then this is going to be a little bit more Akron. Let's just take a look more. Oh, wow. Wow! Okay, so after these Castorice global passive teams is like the leftovers, right? The leftovers of the community. So we have a couple of Fireflies here and there, a little bit of a My Day Hyper Carry, and then we have an Nexa, a little bit of a Firefly. There's a dual DPS with My Day, very, very good. And then yep, just pretty much, yeah. Just My Day Castorice, mainly My Day Castorice. Some of them, wow. Whoa, chat! 6.31 on an E1 average, 8.33 on an E0 average. To be fair, it might be one guy. It might be one guy. But at the end of the day, I see my wife right here. A monumental W for the wife. Yep. Very, very good. Wallahi, it is not over. It is not over. Very, very good, right? So the rest of the stuff for the team 2, they're basically all D-Herdas. Right? A shit ton of D-Herdas. Couple of Aglayas here and there. Then we have an Akron. Yeah, sort of the same picture, more or less. So generally speaking, team 1 is just gonna be with Castorice, and team 2 is just gonna be with D-Herda, right? Oh my god, my wife again. Damn, look at that. Look at that, 5.72 E1 average, by the way. Literally faster than an E1 D-Herda. My wife literally did better than an E1 D-Herda, right? Very, very good. Very, very W. Okay, so let's just sort this by cycles for the fastest clearing. Okay, so this is the 1 single 0 cycle team. D-Herda, Castorice, Nexa, Tribi. What the is this team? It's literally sustained Castorice. You make use of the Pollux mechanics to give you a free Pollux, and then Castorice sustains your entire team. And then the DPS is gonna be with D-Herda, Nexa, and Tribi. Oh my, bro, I wish I can play this on my main account, bro. I wish I can play this on my main account, bro. Should I just lose my morals? I'll pull her during the rerun, and I'll just be a hypocrite and lose all my morals. Bro, I wish I can play this team, bro. There, because this team is sort of cooking, man. Play on Bob? Oh, I think I can play on Bob. Oh, wait, never mind. I gotta keep my morals. Nah, it's okay. I can keep my morals because my Bob has the exact same team. I could cook this. This will be Bob's first 0 cycle. Oh, that would be cooking. My free-to-play account's first ever 0 cycle. Okay, we'll try this out. We'll absolutely try this out. So give me a walk. Okay, very, very good. So that is gonna be the only 0 cycle at 00. This is gonna be a Castorice, Sunday, Lingsha, and Tribi. I'm guessing what's gonna happen is the moment this bitch becomes here, everybody that's running Castorice is gonna 0 cycle. It is literally impossible to not 0 cycle with Castorice. This 0 cycle, it was done in full auto. With full E0 S0, and then Castorice got herself an S1. This was done in full auto. E0 S0 hyacine, E0 S0 Tribi. This is the RMC, and then this is E0 S1 Castorice, right? On full auto, you get a 0 cycle, and I'm starting to think, even without the signature light cone, with the amount of actions left over here, I am pretty sure bro would have just died. You know what I'm saying? So by the time Haya comes out, I think Castorice's performance is gonna be like an average of 1 cycle clear or something. It will just be that. Okay, maybe not everyone will be putting for hyacine, but I expect Castorice's performance after hyacine come out to go up like substantially, especially for the first half. Right? So that's what it is. Other than that, it's just all casual. We have a single. Oh, this is just bringing shame to the Aglaya family. Not gonna lie. Hell nah. Where is Tribi? Why the is this? Where are the Aglaya mates? How the did this team do worse than Bronya? Did Bronya power creep Tribi? Bronya pull Sunday. You know what else pull Sunday? Okay, very, very good. So the rest of the stuff is gonna be Castorice. Okay, team 2 is gonna be Beauty 0 cycle with D-Herda. We still have Akron 0 cycling, ladies and gentlemen. We still have Akron 0 cycling, which means that Akron is absolutely cooking, right? Very, very good. And then we have D-Herda and a Nexa 0 cycle. Who is D-Herda again? And a Nexa 0 cycle featuring Babin Sunday and a King Yun support. I don't believe I've seen Team Yun coming up for like the past 10,000 years, man. Very, very good to see. Very, very good. And then we have a lot of Aglaia showcase over here. Okay, so for this team, you can see that Aglaia actually outperformed the inferior team, right? The Tassante team actually outperformed W Tassante, W Aglaia. Very, very good. And then the rest of the stuff is sort of just Aglaia. Wait, where are the super breaks? What the actual is this team? But other than that one guy, I don't think I see any other super breakers, right? Okay, before we wrap up this video, where are those super breakers? Damn, Ranmei really just gave up on super break. The only team that is still with super break is Reba Fuke, and I don't know what is this DR in this one guy. Not a single super break in sight for the top 10 fastest clearing. Damn. Okay, this is the pure super break. At rank 31, this is the pure super break. To be fair, the performance is still very, very good. A 4.47 average with 3.77 with E1. Sustainless. Sustainless. Oh, we have a boot hill. We have a boot hill. So boot hill and Reba kind of got us the fastest clears running super break. I guess you kind of have to run a sustain against Polux anyways. So Lingsha is always going to be here. Then it's going to be boot hill, Fuke, Ranmei as well as Lingsha. We have a very weird... Is this super break Anaxa plus super break Reba? Oh, this team looks like it could cook. Double super break DPS. Okay, cooking. We have a DOT. Clear using a Lingsha and a clear using a Luocha. Very, very good. Okay, Firefly over here. We also see ourselves the sustainless Firefly. 6 cycle average, but the moment you unlock the E2 Firefly, it basically halves the cycle count into Firefly, Fuel, HMC, and Ranmei. But yeah, I would say that for the top 10 fastest clearing teams, Ranmei just left Super Break. Ranmei is like the dad. Ranmei told her kids, the Super Break kids, right? Is that Ranmei is the mom, and then her 3 kids are like Firefly, Reba, and Boot Hill. It's like, yeah, mom is gonna go get milk. And then she just left, and then she went off with like Aircron and Dearda and Castorice. So yep, it is what it is, right? Okay, with that, we have came back to the end of this entire Prydwen Memory of Chaos statistics. Very, very interesting, very, very insightful. Let me get this over here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. The word of the day is going to be milk. Join Twitch, join YouTube, join Discord, join Twitter, join Twitter. All the best for Gacha Pools. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.